What's up, everyone? Kevin Allen here, aka the Geek from DFS Army, and this is your FanDuel NFL Week 18 first look. That's right, it is the last week of the season. Motivations are going to be key this week, all that good stuff. So we got to figure out who's got what to play for, who has no reason not to play, and who has reason to rest their starter. Once we can get all that, we can get our Week 18 stuff down. So Week 18, very tricky. Got to pay a lot of attention to what the coaches are saying and all that. But for our first look, we're just going to get started kind of going through the basics. So put a little thread together on Twitter, which I will go through right now, talking about team motivations here. And let's start with the teams that have to win. Now, not all of these teams are playing in the Sunday main. We've got a couple of games on Saturday, but most of them are, or a lot of them are. So the Chiefs, resting starters. Nobody going to play. The Bills, same thing. They've locked in the second seed. They're not going to take any chances. You will have no starters in there. The Texans and the Eagles as well. So those are your four. Definitely don't play starters from those teams. And that's reflected in the game tiles. When you see the game totals for each game, you could see that those teams are kind of underdogs or not as heavily favored in matchups as they normally would be. So the Vegas odds, for the most part, are telling the tale here. Now, the next group are teams that must win. And these are the ones we want to specifically target players from. So Falcons, not quite winning you're in, actually, but they need to win regardless. They need to win, and then a Bucs loss, we'll see, right? So the Falcons will be playing to win. Bengals need the win. Lions are the Sunday night game against the Vikings. Both of them are absolutely going all out for the bye week. They're looking for the top seed in the NFC. So there's that. Bucs need a win as well to get in. So it's Bucs or the Falcons kind of battling it out. If the Bucs win, the Falcons will have nothing to play for. Got to check the timing on those two games. The Ravens need a win. That is a Saturday game. Dolphins still in the game. They're going to give it their all against the Jets. And then the Broncos are in a must-win spot against a Chiefs team that is pulling starters. Now, this group of teams are in the might rest players. You should probably avoid them. Now, these are teams that have made the playoffs. They could advance, like they can move a seed up, but they're nothing special. They're not winning a division. They're not getting a bye week or a home game. It's just really teams that might want to play, but probably aren't going to, right? Like the Commanders, they could play, but there's no real great reason to. It might change who they're facing in the first round of the playoffs, that kind of thing. And maybe they will. But these are the danger zones, right? The Chargers, they're in the playoffs. Win or lose, doesn't matter. Seeding, sure. But other than that, Commanders, same idea. Just the seeding difference. Packers, some seeding stuff as well. Although the Packers are heavily favored in that game. So maybe they'll play the starters. I don't know. And then Steelers, I'm assuming the Bengals will win on Saturday. So by that time that happens, the Steelers will have nothing to play for on Sunday. And then, of course, the Rams, same thing. They could change up their seating a little bit, but it's not anything that they're going to care about. So, and based on the lines for that game, it does not look like they're going to care. And then, of course, you have your teams that are out of it. Every other team is effectively out of it. And why would they rest the starter? I don't know. Maybe veterans. Sometimes you see veterans kind of getting some snaps off or the fourth quarter off, that kind of thing on the last week of the season. So no real reason to rest anyone, but no reason to play anyone either. But they had no reason to play anyone last week, and they did. So usually those kind of teams, they just play it out. But if they have some vets, they might give like some younger players a shot later in those games. But for the most part, we can play those players as normal. Okay, so the idea of this video is we're going to take a first look at FanDuel. It is early in the week. It is now Wednesday, still early. New Year's Day, not a lot of content has come out. So we haven't heard much from these coaches. We'll find out a lot more. Like if you're watching this on Friday, you probably, we already knew that those guys were, the coach said. Well, guess what? We're speculating right now. And by the time later in the week comes, we'll know, or maybe we'll get word from coaches and we'll find out for sure, right? But let's take a quick look at the overall slate here. And again, Bills, a team that don't need to win here, as you could tell by this sort of low total. They're taking on the Patriots. Patriots have nothing to play for, nothing to lose for, nothing to rest. They're going to play their guys. And an interesting one for me is this Jaguars-Colts game. That's that same Colts team that made Drew Lock on the Giants look like the next coming of Jaden Daniels last week. So, this Colts defense is terrible. So Jaguars could be interesting. Brian Thomas Jr. Colts, same thing. If they roll out Flacco here, I'm interested. Two terrible defenses. So I like this game a little bit. Houston at the Titans. Houston going to be resting their guys probably, or have no reason to play out this entire game. So maybe we'll get a little Titans action there. Not sure. I'm super excited about any of those guys, but who knows, right? Bears at the Packers. Again, Packers are on the list of don't really need to win, but yet here they are with a really high total. So Vegas does seem to think that they're going to play this one all out to ball out. We'll see. Bear side, it's gross. Giants going up against the Eagles, probably backups here. Could be interesting. Depending on how many defensive players they rest. Eagles got a good defense, but Giants got it done last week, and maybe they'll go out strong and blow their chances at drafting a top quarterback. It'd be the dumbest win in the history of dumb wins. So we'll see. Maybe they'll pull it off. Here we got the Commanders at the Cowboys. Commanders have like a little more of motivation, I think, because the seeding is a kind of a bigger deal in the NFC, where there's a big difference between 6 and 5. 5, you're probably going up against Houston. I don't know who there. Wait a minute. I don't really know. Don't know. No, not much reason there for the Commanders to sort of put the pedal to the metal by any stretch. All right, I got it cleared up. So here's how this works. Washington, Dan Quinn, the coach, has come out and said, we're going all in. We're going to play it out. So that's what's happening here. They're going to try for that 6 seed. Okay. Now, if they get the 6 seed, the most likely way that the NFC will roll out, Eagles are the 2 seed. That's locked in. The Rams are probably going to be the 3 seed, but I think they could, if they lose, they might end up being the 4 seed. So the Rams and the Bucks are going to kind of be 3rd and 4th seed. And then you have the Commanders and the Packers fighting it out for those next 2 spots, with the Falcons with a chance only if the Bucks lose, which they're probably not going to. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And then, of course, you've got the Eagles are in there. The Bucks are in there. The Vikings and the Lions. That's the 1 and 2. So because of that, I don't really think it matters. I spent way too much time on this, but in reality, it doesn't really matter. What's important is the Commanders head coach has said they're going to play it out. So that's why they're favored, or effectively they're not underdogs on the road playing the backups. They're probably going to play their starters. You gotta believe Vegas for the most part. So expect the Commanders to actually play their guys, which is interesting. Yeah, Saints at the Bucks. Bucks should easily win this. The Bucks need to win. So Bucks are a team we are going to be looking to build around this week for sure. Next, we got the Falcons at the Panthers. And again, it's nice that this game is at the same time as some of these others, because the Falcons are going to be playing to win regardless. They might not make the playoffs even if they do win, but they're going all out. And that is definitely a team that I want to target players from as well. So yeah, that'll be a team we're looking for a piece of. Panther side, they've been looking pretty good lately as well. So why not? Right. Then we've got the Dolphins at the Jets. Again, Dolphins are going to try to win this game regardless. They won't know, so they're going to need the win. And, the question is Tua even going to play here, or is it going to be the backup? And if it is the backup, I don't really like anything about that team when Tua's not in there. Chiefs at the Broncos. Chiefs probably resting the starters in this one, which, and the Broncos need the win anyway. So we've got a highly motivated Broncos team in this game, and, we should get a good one out of their offensive skill players. Here we've got the 49ers at the Cardinals, 42.5 pointer, very low total. Gross, right? Just not liking the total on this game. Brock Purdy's banged up. Not sure he's going to play. If he doesn't play, I think it's a disaster for the 49ers. So we'll have to see. Garendo could be interesting in that one. And for the Cardinals, they have no reason to win, no reason to lose, no reason to rest anyone. It is notable that both James Conner and Trey Benson have Q tags. Who knows if they're going to play? And there's, Michael Carter's there. Might be an interesting Michael Carter situation brewing for the Cardinals. Chargers at at the Raiders. We'll kind of know what their situation is after the Steelers play on Saturday. If the Steelers win their game, then the Chargers have nothing to play for. They're automatically the 5th seed, right? If the Steelers lose, that's if the Steelers win. If the Steelers lose, the Chargers would need to actually win to get the 5th seed. So then they would have something to play for in the sense that if I'm the coach, I'm playing that game out. So if the Steelers lose, then the Chargers need a win to earn the 5th seed. The 5th seed allows you to play the Texans in round 1 because they're going to be the 4 seed rather than the Ravens, who would be the 3 seed. So there's a lot of motivation there potentially to get that 5th seed, except I think the Steelers are probably going to lose. They might lose. We'll see. The Steelers are underdogs in that game. But if the Steelers do lose, then they will. Well, let's just remind myself here. Is this just confusing as hell? Let's say it again. If the Steelers beat the Bengals, the Chargers lock up the 5 seed. If the Steelers lose to the Bengals, the Chargers would need this win. I believe it's most likely that the Steelers will lose, which will set up the Chargers in a situation where they need to win this game. So this is one of those teams where we want to pay close attention to what's happening in it beforehand, and there is a reasonably good chance that the Chargers will be playing to win that game. We have players that we like on the Chargers. They're up against the crapola Raiders team. So that's Ladd McConkey. That's a bunch of running backs, J.K. Dobbins maybe. So we'll have to see how that one goes down. So like I said, that's part of that group that may or may not be playing with motivation. And, again, we want to listen to what the coach says, see if they're valuing this idea of getting the higher seed to play, Houston, who has not been that great, versus, the Ravens. I think they should, like I would. So I don't know. Seahawks at the Rams. Rams are clearly not playing this one to win. You could tell by the total, 16.75, unless the coaches come out and say, yes, we're all in. But right now, I don't think so. Low total game. This one's gross. Some Seahawks players could be interesting. Let's see. Maybe Charbonnet. Why not? Charbonnet. And then finally, the game of the week, the one to end them all, the one we're all excited to watch. We've got the Vikings at the Lions with a monster 56-point total. Super close. Lions at home in the dome, summertime dome. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hell yes. Uh-oh. Boner alert. No reason to even mess with other games other than to provide value to load up on players from this one. So we are going to be going heavy on this final game of the slate, Sunday Night Football for the bye week. Vikings at the Lions. Let's go. All right. So that's basically what this whole slate comes down to. That one game to end all others, right? So we want to really focus in on that. Now, again, we'll try to get a little reminder going as we go through these players, but Josh Allen, no, right? Jaden Daniels might be playing this one out. Okay, maybe. Coach says they're going to play it out. Young quarterback, I don't see why, sometimes coaches want to do that, so they might play this one out. So Jaden Daniels is definitely in the discussion. Baker Mayfield in discussion as well. Baker's my guy on DraftKings, so I might go a different way on FanDuel, just be a little different. And here we have our elite quarterback pairing, Sam Darnold, Jared Goff. Pick your poison. Either one is good. Let's see here. They're actually averaging similar scores this season. Darnold's coming off a pretty good game. Goff, also. Like, these guys are both good. I'm not even sure it matters which one you pick. But, let's get one of these guys going up here. We'll go. No, actually, you know what? We'll go with the home team quarterback. Why not? The home field guy. There we go. So I'm going to put Goff in there, but we're going to talk through some of these other spots. I like Darnold, of course, as well. Bo Nix, very playable in that spot. A must-win game for him. Herbert, we're going to wait and see if they need to play. They probably will. Herbert will be playable as well, probably. Kyler Murray's kind of meh. Kyler Murray, but you never know. He's going to play out the game, certainly. Mahomes is out. Richardson, we'll see if he plays. Tua, we'll see if he plays. Won't like him even if he does. Probably not going to be on that. Purdy, doubtful, so that's not looking too good for him. I don't know why you would play Purdy injured like that. CJ Stroud, probably rest. Jordan Love has been terrible. No reason to play him in DFS at this point. Geno Smith, same deal. Not really. Hasn't been good. Caleb, okay. I mean, if we're looking for bargain guys, Caleb's always kind of in that discussion. Flacco down here, fine if he plays and starts. I'll have some interest there. No Rodgers for me. No Trubisky. Even though Trubisky is probably going to start that whole game and play it out, I'm not doing that. Bryce Young, no. Cooper Rush, no. Huntley, no. Mac Jones, playable. Drew Lock, playable against the backups, I guess. Yeah, that's about it for the quarterback position. I think we're going to focus in really tight on our player pool this week. So, stay tuned. The cheat sheet's coming out later on and all that. But I think we're going to be pretty focused and pretty tight on our player pool for this one. All right. Moving on to the running back position. I just saw a note from Nick Sirianni. It does not look like they're going to put Barkley in and try to get him the record. We'll see if that changes, but it's just one less decision to have to make. So I'm fine with it. Right. Bijan Robinson in a great spot. I'm not sure Bijan is even able to put up a score that kind of justifies 9, 18, 27, 30. He'd need a 30 here. I guess he's got one already this season, so he can get there. Yeah, Bijan in the mix in this great matchup. But just look out for Tyler Algier. That vulture could ruin it. Jahmyr Gibbs is almost a must play for me without Montgomery there. I'm just going to plug him in. Even with Jared Goff, I think you got to play Jahmyr Gibbs as well. This is the game that we're targeting, so why not? Jonathan Taylor, very good. Kyron Williams, no. Josh Jacobs, no. James Cook, no. HN, only if Tua plays, so I'm not interested. Otherwise, Bucky Irving, very much somebody I want to target this. Ooh, James Conner on IR. Is that new? Wow, okay. Also, Trey Benson. There it is. And we do get the Michael Carter value play. There it is. Yep. The Michael Carter value. Let's see where he's priced. 5,800. I'm just going to plug him in because I'm playing that guy at 5,800. He was pretty good. But let's keep talking through some of these running backs here. Bucky Irving, good spot. Joe Mixon, not going to play. J.K. Dobbins, playable. I don't mind that. J.K. Dobbins came back, 20 carries in his first game back. I mean, he's back. Back again. J.K.'s back. Tell your friends. Get J.K.'s back. J.K.'s back. J.K.'s back. Sorry, came out of nowhere. J.K.'s back. Fine. 7,500, acceptable. Good spot. Kamara, no. Aaron Jones, what's his story? Limited practice participant. I want as much action from this game as I can get. So Aaron Jones will be in the conversation. Yeah, it's Rico Dowdle, also playable down here at this price. Zach Charbonnet, certainly up against the backups, probably going to get the start here. Not really anything to play for, but, not any reason to rest him. Same thing with Garendo, playable. I want favored running backs. I actually think Charbonnet is a pretty good spot. I'm going to place him over here in the flex for now. Garendo, also, same thing, playable. Not a great play, low total game, but playable. Yeah, Tyrone Tracy, also acceptable play. Amir Abdullah is somebody I don't mind, even though he's the underdog running back. I don't prefer that. Yeah, and of course, Michael Carter. I actually think Tyler Algier is an interesting kind of, punt this week. Wouldn't blow my mind if he got a touchdown in that game, even two. That would be a little shocking, but not that crazy. So we've got our running backs all squared away. We got Jared Goff stacked up with his running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. We got super salary saver Michael Carter starting for the Cardinals. We got Zach Charbonnet. Team doesn't need to not play, but he's on the favorite team on going up against a Rams team that doesn't give a shit for this one. So yeah, let's roll with that. All right, let's jump to defense, and then we'll get to the rest of the position groups. I always like to try to find one of the lower, viable defenses here. And I actually think right here, Giants are a viable play against the Eagles. The Eagles rolling out the backups. If they roll them out the whole game, fine. Patriots too. If you're going to be sending out your backup quarterback, I don't mind playing a defense against you. So Patriots and Giants, probably acceptable plays down here if we want to punt it super, super deep. Titans, this is a great spot against the backups for Houston. Who even is the backup quarterback for Houston? I don't know. Who is it? I don't know. Davis Mills. Davis Mills starting. Yeah, I mean, he's not complete trash. So, but either way, Titans defense is pretty good. So I'll take the pay down option there. All right, let's kind of look through a few more of these defenses. Yeah, jumping back over to just the rest of the defenses here, see what's around. Yeah, Seattle's another one, right? Going up against the backups for the Rams, fine. Okay. I think the Jets are playable. I don't love it, but some of these other ones like Denver against the KC backups probably okay. Eagles maybe, but I don't mind it. Titans I think are really good. I'm actually excited to play them down at this price. So let's jump over to the tight end position. I'm trying to build around this one game. So we'll get to who we're going to play here, but I'm really trying to build around this game as much as possible. You think about Vikings, Detroit, you've got Hawkinson, you've got Laporta. No reason, I don't think, to go veer that far off from those guys. But let's see. Yeah, George Kittle, no, not with the backup there. Trey McBride is fine, but I'm not paying that. Bauer's also fine, not paying that this week. Kelsey probably not going to play. Joe New, not interested in him here. So we got Laporta and Hawkinson, 6K, 5,900. I mean, it's pick your poison, right? Play Laporta with Goff, fine. Pick your poison. Hawkinson, also good play. Kincaid, no. Schultz, no. Noah Gray, no. Gray. Chig is, interesting, as is Ertz down here if we want to save a little bit, but it's not enough savings to make it worth getting away from this awesome game situation. I mean, I guess if Cade Otton was playing, I'd have some interest there as well. And maybe some Hunter Henry if he's okay. And if Hunter Henry's out, definitely be interested in Austin Hooper. So, yeah, that's about it. I think we're going to keep it a tight player pool here. We got Laporta, we got Hawkinson, a couple of cheapies, maybe a Okonkwo, maybe Ferguson or something like that, maybe these guys. No, maybe Hooper if Henry's out. All right, jumping over to the wide receiver position, and let's see how much salary we left ourselves to work with here. We got about 7K per. So obviously we're going to have to kind of be, how can I put this? We're going to have to be careful with how we spend the rest of our money. We can't just play Jefferson and Amon-Ra, but man, do I want to. Love to have a piece of this game and the elite wide receivers attached to it. I probably like Amon-Ra better with Goff and Jefferson better with Darnold and that kind of thing. So let's see if we can, if I put Amon-Ra in there, it's really going to put us in a tight situation for this one. We might not be able to play like a Jahmyr Gibbs with Amon-Ra in the same lineup, but let's see. Mike Evans, also very much in play with Baker Mayfield and the Bucs needing the win. Puka, no. Nico, no. Brown, no. Malik Neighbors, yeah. Okay. Brian Thomas Jr. also like this game. Colts at the Jaguars at the Colts. I like the game. I like the spot. Brian Thomas Jr. very playable. So he's on the list. Ladd McConkey, if all goes according to plan, could be very playable as well. Let's see here. Cortland Sutton is part of that Denver game. I'm going to lean to the other guys there, right, a little bit. Addison, loves me some Addison as well. He's been so good lately. He's just been better. What a great second half of the season. Now, if we play Addison, we're down to no money left, so this is not going to work. But I plugged him in there because we might have to get off of Amon-Ra and kind of do this lineup a little bit differently to bring it all together, or we can get off Addison. We'll see. Cooper Kupp, no. Juan Jennings, no. Garrett Wilson, probably not. Harrison, not interested. Myers, no. Worthy, no. Jammo. He's Jammo. Different Jammo. Yeah, Jameson Williams, very playable here as well. I like the price point, 6,500, acceptable. Part of the game we want to target, so all good. Like I said, you could switch up Amon-Ra for Williams if we had to. I kind of like, I don't mind Reed here. It looks like the Packers will play their guys. We'll see. Thielen also playable here. He's just been really, really good. So I'm going to keep playing Thielen here this last week. His last shot, maybe his last game as a pro. I don't know. He's old as hell. K-Shack, DJ Moore playable. Darnell Mooney, Calvin Ridley, the Riddler. Michael Pittman. Yeah, see, these are all good plays. Like, I could play Michael Pittman again. Again, this Colts-Jaguars game, we are free to play whoever we want from that one. Keenan Allen, acceptable play as well. Really underpriced. McMillan, another potential stack with Baker, but also playable as a standalone play. Downs. A lot of good spots here. A lot of good spots. Now, obviously, I'm not going to probably find a $4,800 wide receiver that's relevant. I'm just kind of going through the list here. Yeah, here we got Marvin Mims, who's somebody I also like a lot. Smashed last week. Good job on the chat here, the live chat during our live show. One of our guys, John Archise, good pick. Called out Marvin Mims, and he smashed last week. That was awesome. Tim Patrick, Wicks down here, Malik Washington. I'm just kind of going through these names to see if anything could even possibly be of interest. There probably will be players that kind of pop up late week as backups or whatever in this price range, but that's not how we're going to build it. So the Amon-Ra approach does not really work for this particular lineup, not with Addison in there as well. So I think we can go Jameson Williams here. And then let's see if we can close it out with somebody quote unquote good. How about Drake London, touchdown scorer? Yeah, I can work with that. So we've got a Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Laporta, and Jammo quadruple stack, which is fine. And actually, I like in this scenario leaving out the most expensive wide receiver for exactly that reason. If we've got Laporta in the lineup and we already have Gibbs, this game really has to go nuts to get Jameson Williams in there, but it would actually be almost impossible for Amon-Ra to get there in that kind of a lineup. We're bringing it back with Jordan Addison. We just have the one piece from Minnesota. I wouldn't mind kind of finding other versions of this where, for example, we might switch Laporta up for Hawkinson and then, kind of do things a little bit different there. Maybe get off of Jameson Williams here or something like that in sort of future builds. But I think this version is perfectly acceptable. It's very correlated, which is what I'm looking for in these lineups in the first look. So Jared, Williams, Laporta, Gibbs, triple stack. Bring back with Addison. And then we've got cheap value running back starter here in Michael Carter. We've got starting wide receiver 1 coming off of a monster 13 target volume day from Penix in a must-win game going up against Carolina. You've got Charbonnet going up against the backup sort of defense for the Rams. Fine by me as a serious favorite. And finally, the Titans defense going up against what would probably be the backup offense for the Texans. All right, that's going to do it for FanDuel NFL Week 18, the first look, guys. Thank you for being with me this whole season. We had a lot of fun covering FanDuel this year. I usually didn't always do it. We're always focused too much on DraftKings. We changed it up. We focused on FanDuel this year. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want me to keep going with the FanDuel content throughout the playoffs. Happy to do it. Loves me some FanDuel. I actually prefer FanDuel format, especially in the shorter slate. So I'm going to be hammering FanDuel all playoff season in those 2 and 3 game slates that we love. So make sure you are subscribed here and you're checking that out. And I will see you guys next time. Helmets up, everyone.
Sheesh. Yeah, big time. No, diamonds in my teeth. I got a lot of shine.